wanted to tell just a couple of things that I've learned along the way. I think that would be applicable and practical, just for everyday kind of living, whether you have your own business. I mean, sometimes it feels like you're running a house as a business and, doing all of the things like that is its own thing. So I think that I just wanted to kind of offer a couple of things. And one thing that I know about myself is that I like to do all of the things. I want to wear all of the hats, and I want to be able to, um, do let's just try it my way. I mean, I'm not saying your way is wrong, but let's just try it my way, and then we can kind of, branch out from there. But that's not really how I feel, and so
welcome to the Salt Podcast, where we talk about all things simple. Yep, simple anointed living tips. I'm your host, Jenny Peña. Hello. Thank you all for joining us once again. Today I have a special guest of Herpothecary soaps and shampoos and all the self-care that you need. I cannot thank you enough, Maya, for joining me today.
oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Jenny.
That's awesome. I just can't wait to hear about everything that you have prepared to talk about today. But first, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and your business so that we can kind of get to know you a little bit better?
Sure. So my name is Maya. I am a Seattle, Washington native in the States, but I currently live in Washington, D.C. And I work full time for my full time gig, but I also make soaps, as you mentioned, and kind of bath and fun body care products on the side for my business, Herpothecary, which got started probably closer to about 5 years ago. My goodness, now that I think
Oh,
about it,
wow.
5 years ago, yeah. Just kind of got started with, my son. And once I had him, I wanted to just make more products or have more products at home that catered toward his skin that weren't going to agitate or irritate him at all. And so
Mm.
I saw some things that I didn't particularly care for in the store-bought products. I'm like, I can make that, but I can make that. And I had no background whatsoever. But as I kind of educated myself in things like cold processed soap and skincare, it kind of became a thing. So it's kind of taken off and become its own thing, which I'm really, really grateful for. So that's
Yeah.
how I'm here today, making soaps and things.
I love it. And I love Herpothecary. First of all, I love the name. How did you come up with that?
So I knew that being a Seattle native, I kind of grew up with a lot of the crunchy, the granola,
Yeah.
everything. And so that was my upbringing. But I
Mhm.
also, like, my mom was also a little bougie. So she still is, let me not say was, past, she still is kind of bougie. And so I have like the best of both worlds in that space where if I wanted to smell good, I had a little perfume here and there, but I also have my essential oils on deck. So I wanted things that cater toward, folks who may wanted a little, maybe a designer fragrance, something like that, but also
Oh,
to really stick to the health and the wellness of their family and really knowing what that looked like. So there was Apothecary, but I really wanted to focus it more for women. So I'm like, her apothecary,
hmm.
it's a thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. It's an awesome play on words and it's creative and I love your style. It's true. You have the bougie style of in your art and your brand and your packaging. It's so beautiful. I just congratulate you for your business and I pray that it can continue to grow. So you mentioned a little bit about like ingredients and how that was important to you, especially when you had your son. Can you like tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So, when I had him this 2015, it was, I mean, no matter where you look, even nowadays, I mean, there's kind of like detergent based this or, sodium something something. I can't really pronounce that. So there were and still
Right.
are a lot of products on the market that you really just can't, you don't know for sure what's in them, unless you
Mm.
really educate yourself and you just make yourself comfortable with, whatever the ingredients are. And I wasn't quite there. Like, new mom, not my
Yeah.
baby. I'm not really wanting him to go down that. And I know that with a lot of African American skin in particular, it can be really like we're really prone to things like psoriasis and eczema and just melanated skin as a whole. So I felt like the basics are where I could go with him, and so I looked to cold process soap, which is
Mm.
one of the old school ways of making soap with water and lye and really basic oils and butters and things like that. Um, and he's never had any kind of issues or flare ups, and so I had a couple other friends, their kids, try it out, and it was like, okay, this is working.
Mm.
So people really tended to lean toward more of the cold process soaps, and so now I've been kind of doing it in the liquid soap. I have more people who are liking the shower gel and things like that, but also with it just being cold process. It's not with a lot of the detergents and things like that, that not everybody wants. So I do offer both,
Hmm.
but I do see people leaning more toward things like like the cold process, really, really clean ingredients.
That's so wonderful. I started learning more about and educating myself, especially because my husband was already kind of educated with all of that before I even met him. So he helped me understand the importance, especially when I became pregnant, and he wanted me to switch from all those crazy ingredients to like, why don't you just make your own? And he'd buy me all the like ingredients like shea butter and coconut oil and all these things. And I was like, okay. I got thrown into that world too. But that's great that your mom was already kind of into those things too. So that must have been a great help for you.
It was. She definitely was the one that, growing up, I remember her buying us like honey sticks instead of candy, or, things
Oh,
like that, that would kind of give us a little bit of the sweets, but not overdoing it with all of the sugar. So she's always kind of been my sounding board when it comes to finding
uh,
the happy medium between things like that. So it does make a difference.
wow. Okay. So actually today you're not going to be talking to us about how to make soaps and all the DIY things. You're going to give us mom help and like systems and tips. So I'd love to hear about what you have to offer us today.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk just a couple of things that I've learned along the way. I think that would be applicable and practical, just for everyday kind of living, whether you have your own business. I mean, sometimes it feels like you're running a house as a business, and doing all
Right.
of the things like that is its own thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that I just wanted to kind of offer a couple of things. And one thing that I know about myself is that I like to do all of the things. I want to wear all of the hats, and I want to be able to um, do let's just try it my way. I mean, I'm not saying your way is wrong, but let's just try it my way, and then we can kind of branch out from there. But that's not really how I feel. And so one thing that I have learned, in the way of systems, is to kind of relinquish a little bit of that control and to
Mm.
receive help, because help is there for a reason. And as much as I'm speaking to myself, I'm looking at the man in the mirror. As much as I like to say, no one's helping me and I'm so overwhelmed, that receiving help
Yeah.
is such, like, you really have to be in tune to be able to say, one, I need help, and
Hmm.
two, what does that look like for me? That's the most beneficial way. So I would start out with that. I think sometimes as moms and mompreneurs or what have you, it can be hard to accept the help that you really do need. So I think that is really important.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Especially, I feel you on the wearing all the hats and getting overwhelmed. And yeah, like it doesn't go well with, especially, in marriage and with my kids and homeschooling. Yeah, thankfully, at this place that we rented, this Airbnb includes like once a week cleaning. So that's like, okay, one weight lifted off, sorry. But then of course, like what you said, I love that you said that, is that how does that help look for you, right?
Mhm.
Because
That's right.
for for everyone it might be different. They might not need so much like the help with the cleaning. They might need like someone to watch the kids for like an hour just so you could go like work out or have some time to think, or I don't know, whatever it is that you want to do, right?
Yes, because when we don't have that and people say, you don't want to pour from an empty cup, but it's exactly that. I mean, and like I said, I know I'm prime candidate to say, well, no one's helping me. And it's like, well, one, you're not asking, and two, you don't even know how you need to be helped. And so I think that that really helps to set the tone for your household or your business, or however it is, because you'll be able to be in a better position to kind of delegate and do whatever you need to do later, like you said, pour back into yourself or work on another task or what have you. But it just doesn't serve us very well to do all the things, from what I've learned. um,
Yes, I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah. And to kind of, I guess maybe pivot off of that same space, or headspace, I've learned is because I have so many things going on, with business and full-time work and kids and puppies and all these things, like a brain dump is necessary. Like I try to do at least a weekly brain dump. I try to kind of plan things around, what kind of leads into like the next tip is just planning and making sure I have a designated time to plan and get everything out on paper. It may not always look the cutest or the neatest, but I may see
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos where people are planning out their weeks and they have the columns and the colors. I just have to get it out. Like I just have to get it on a piece of paper and out of my head so that I don't say, oh my God, I forgot to feed the dog. That's what it was. That's exactly what I was supposed to do. So, and it
Oh
happens so
Lord.
many times. It's like let me
Yeah.
get back to where I need to be to really focus and center myself. So let's get everything out and then organize it accordingly. So those would be tips 2 and 3.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely like for me that I love winging it. I'm a creative. I don't do well with like fitting into a box and doing things like a certain way. And because of that, actually, I need to write things down. I have to force myself to put it on a calendar, to put a reminder or more than one reminder, like a day in advance. Like even like you said, the little tasks, like remember to set aside time to feed yourself even. Oh my goodness, as a mom of three, especially, like Jenny, sit down and eat. Stop. That can wait. Do the right thing now. What do you need now? Right now you need to eat. Okay, make time for that, and then set aside a time for whatever projects I'm doing. Or oof, that can be like a task in itself.
Oh my
Managing
God.
myself, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, even going like hand in hand with that, being able to sit down and really focus on what it is you need to do and do it with intention is so powerful. Like, I need to eat.
Mm.
Yes, I do. I'm going to enjoy my meal. The kids might be screaming in the background. That's okay. They're going to do that regardless. So I'm going to eat and I'm going to enjoy myself and just kind of take it all in. And I think one thing that's happened with this whole pandemic thing is really made me sit back. I've lost a few people. And it's just it hurts, but it also gives you that like, wow, like the Most High is really moving, and I don't want
Hmm.
to be taken out of here without recognizing, all the little things to be grateful, to be intentional about having a bowl of cereal, about being, not, in a hospital somewhere. I mean, those are vast, huge examples. But it just makes you really that much more intentional because of what's happening and then the kind of the shift in the climate of how things are going. So yes, being intentional
Hmm.
and sitting down to focus on what you need to do is super, super important, no matter the task. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree, definitely. I mean, it may sound like extremes, like how you said, but I have had people say that they've had to check themselves in somewhere just to get help. Hey, it's me, just taking a quick sec to let you know about the Pink Premium Access. Get the link for access in the show notes or heavenlytreasure.net, where you can choose monthly or yearly access options. You will get all the uncut gems hidden from the Salt podcast, plus exclusive episodes, promos from guests, Ask Me Anything episodes, and private group Zoom calls for access members only. Sorry to hide these next gems from you. See you in the Pink Premium, and thanks for helping me keep the show alive and running. Another thing that I wanted to ask you is what what would you say to women who haven't have this idea or have a talent or a skill and they haven't yet, been able to overcome these things to be able to take that step and create their businesses?
Yeah, I would offer to be super intentional about how your time is being spent. Because I think that sometimes we may look on social media or we may see different things and say, oh, that would be great, or I'd love to do this, or I've always been passionate about that. But I think sometimes social media or the world these days will kind of make things look super easy to be able to kind of fall into.
Mm,
I'll just try it, this time. And that very well could be some people's experience.
mhm,
But I think that just trying it, like dipping your toe in and trying it. And there are some people who are able to fall, all the way in and build wings as they fly, and just kind of like
mhm,
roar at it. I think that there are opposite ends of the spectrum. But I think if it's something that's been ruminating within you for a while and you really want to start this business, give it a try. Build a tribe around you, people that you know and people that you trust that can encourage you and say, hey, I can bounce ideas off of you or something like that, because that tribe and that sense of community is really, really important when you're getting started, or really throughout your entire entrepreneurial journey, I would say. But I think in the beginning, it's nice to have people who think the way that you do and who are really able to help just kind of keep you on course and keep you on
mm.
task. So that's really helpful.
Oh,
Um,
thank you for that. Yeah, I agree. And if you can, just give us your information where we can find you and your products and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So I am everywhere. Twitter, not so much Twitter, I shouldn't say that because I don't know how to tweet like that, but Facebook.
Me either.
Thank you. I'm like, I know it's not just me. Facebook
No.
and Instagram is at Herpothecary, and that is spelled Herpothecary. And the
Okay.
website is www.herpothecary.com. That's
Okay, perfect. Thank
it.
you, Rhea. I appreciate your time, and I know that you have to get back to your family and your business. So thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, Jenny. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for listening in. Be sure to hit subscribe and visit heavenlytreasure.net for more. See you on IG at Heavenly Treasure Living. Till next time, blessings, and remember to be the salt of the earth.